Do you remember those nights where you sat in front of the TV, completely lost in films like The Goonies and National Treasure, with the thrill of hidden clues, secret maps, and buried treasure, which just made you wish you could set off on your own adventure, solving mysteries, exploring lost ancient ruins, and uncovering history's greatest secrets? Well, with this game, you're one step closer to bringing your childhood fantasies to life. This is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, this game was originally released on PlayStation in 2016, but it was remastered on PC in 2022. And the whole Uncharted game series was made by Naughty Dog, who also made The Last of Us. So you already know this game's going to be amazing. You play as the character Nathan Drake, who's a career treasure hunter with the goal of finding an infamous pirate's long-lost hoard. And that pirate's name is Henry Avery. Now, there's only one problem. Henry Avery disappeared in 1696, and with time, his trail just went completely cold. And you're tasked with following the clues that he left behind in hopes of recovering what he stole. And what makes this even more amazing is that Henry Avery actually existed. The treasure that he stole is actually out somewhere, and the events leading up to him being one of the most infamous pirates is actually real. Now, he's known for riding a ship called the Gunsway, which was owned by the Mughal Empire at the time, and on board it had an estimated £600,000 worth of gold, silver, and jewels. And in today's currency, it estimates to around £115 million, which is just nuts. And I've got to say, the journey this game takes you on is honestly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The game is worth every penny you pay for it, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, we need to go back to its core. And this is the start of the story.
Nathan. What are we gonna do with you? You must be tired of these lectures. I know I'm tired of giving them. And now you have to stay here with me all weekend instead of going on the retreat with everyone else?
I don't care.
Yes, that is the crux of the problem.
I don't see why I'm the only one being punished.
Because you started the fight.
He wouldn't give me back my book.
I told you to leave those books in your room. You only have yourself to blame.
Doesn't give him the right to just snatch it from me.
Does that give you the right to start throwing punches?
It wasn't just about the book.
What was it then?
Nothing. I'll save it for confession.
No matter what I try, you seem insistent on going down the same sad road as your brother. What a waste.
You start off in an orphanage, and after being scolded for a fight, you sat there to contemplate with what you've done. Then something catches your eye coming from the window.
Sam!
It's your brother, and you have to sneak out to meet him. And this is where the game reminds me of Assassin's Creed, because the climbing system's just very similar. And that's not me saying it's a bad thing. I actually think it's interesting that it's set in such a modern time. But it is actually believable, because when you think about it, kids in orphanages do this every single day to sneak out. Just let me know if you can see the similarities, because this bit here just reminds me of Assassin's Creed. But you eventually meet up with your brother, and he plans on taking you outside of the orphanage. And you do have to go through some more climbing to get out, but eventually you do, and he shows you his brand new bike.
We're out.
All right.
Check it out. Huh?
Whoa, you got the 250?
This is when he tells you he's going away for a while, and the best place for you is the orphanage and not the adventure he's about to go on. But he's taking you on one more tonight just to make up for it. So you jump on the back of the bike, ready to go on this adventure. But then it fast forwards to you being in prison. Yep, you're in a fight with another inmate. And I personally think the scene is just amazing. I think the developers have done a really good job with just making it feel like you're actually there. But the guards eventually come and put a stop to the madness. And this is where you meet Vargas.
We weren't fighting. Huh? Right, little guy? Hey, give me a call when you're tall enough to ride the rides.
You're put into solitary confinement, where eventually you are re-woken up and taken out of the cell by Vargas. And this is when you realise, as the player, this was all part of a big plan. This is your first step to finding Henry Avery's treasure. But Vargas wants in.
In?
Whatever you hope to find up there, I want in.
So you climb the old building and you end up jumping through the window where you find yourself in a massive cell with markings all over the wall. And this is your first puzzle, and I'm not going to show it to you just in case you are planning on playing this game. But you find an old cross and you end up going back to meet Vargas.
You made it. What'd you find?
Place was picked clean. If there's a clue hidden up there somewhere, I couldn't find it.
So you lie to Vargas and end up sending him on a wild goose chase. This is where you meet back up with your crew and tell them what you found. But as you're about to leave, your old friend comes back to you. Now, the guards come in and stop the fight for a second time, and you're all searched, and this is where the cross is found, and Vargas is furious.
Are you bringing in contraband?
Vargas.
He leads you to his office, exposing you for lying to him, and even pulls a gun on you. Eventually, you renegotiate a deal with him, and as Rafe goes to shake his hand...
And if you ever cross me again...
Rafe, out of nowhere, unexpectedly stabs him, which is another twist and turn in this crazy story. But now, you've got to get out of there. And this is where you start a prison escape. But it starts from bad to worse because you jump on a canopy and it falls through. And the guards, hot on your tail, ambush you. Now, Rafe doesn't help, but your brother Sam does, risking his freedom. And this is where you really feel betrayal from Rafe because of it. The way Sam enters the scene, it's like something out of WWE. But you get to the final hurdle and you turn to help Sam with the jump when he's shot and falls below.
Sam, no. No, you hold on. Hold on. Sam!
Give me your other arm. Come on, reach. No! Sam!
And as sad as it is, you're forced to leave with Rafe and get to the getaway boat that's located in the ocean. Now, if that start doesn't make you immediately want to pick this game up and play it, I honestly don't know what will. Once I got past the intro, I literally did not put this game down. So now it's time we move on to our replayability rating, and I'm going to go through the story, the graphics, the mechanics, and give a final conclusion. So let's start with the story. And I don't know what it is, but with these older games, I always find the writing's just absolutely amazing and just very well thought out. You can just tell they had the head screwed on when they were writing this game because it's just absolutely gripping. The twists and turns throughout the story just constantly leave you on the edge of your seat, second guessing what you think might happen or what you might find at the end of the journey, which is exactly what you want from a story game. And it is sad to say, but this game is the last game in the Uncharted series, which honestly, in this day and age, is commendable because it shows that they know exactly when the story should end. And if you relate it to modern story games, some franchises completely milk the fanbase dry purely because of the hype, which leaves what was once an amazing storyline just completely ruined. So in short, it's well written, very immersive, and the ending is actually very satisfying. Now, because it was remade in 2022, the graphics are obviously going to look amazing, from explosions to gunfights to the general scenery. It all combines together and makes it look real. I mean, it's hard to say this game doesn't look beautiful. Now, as I said earlier, the climbing mechanics do remind me of Assassin's Creed, which I do think is a humble respect to the older games in that series, because let's face it, the new ones aren't half as good as the older ones. And I will admit, sometimes when I'm playing the game, I'm thinking there's no way a normal person would be able to climb this. But then I look and see that free runners and mountain climbers actually do a lot of what you do in this game, which doesn't necessarily make it impossible, but it just makes it extremely dangerous, and the amount of people that have died trying to do this thing is just ridiculous. But despite that, it is a lot of fun, and the views from this game once you get to the top of these sort of buildings is just unreal. And I've also got to highlight the car winching in this game because that is something I've never seen before. And I mean, it's ridiculous to get excited over this, but you have to actually walk around the objects you want to be pulled up on. But like my girlfriend always says to me, the smallest things can make you the happiest. And she actually says that quite a lot. Yeah. Let's move on. Now, the combat in this game is actually really fun, and I just wanted to highlight this entrance because it's literally like a WWE match. What a way to make an entrance to a gunfight. But as I was saying, the combat is actually really fun, and it's quite challenging because the assault rifles actually have spray patterns, kind of like Counter-Strike, which I actually like because it gives you an extra skill to learn, and it's that more satisfying when you can actually aim and hit all your shots, which is actually what you want from a shooter game. And not only that, but I do think that the combat in this game is quite stressful, but not in a bad way, because it actually adds the intensity to the gunfights, which is what you really want from a shooter game as well. So with that being said, let's move on to our replayability rating. And I'll be honest, if I didn't give this a 5 out of 5, I'd be kicking myself. Games like this seriously make me consider putting down multiplayer games for a while because it's that addictive, and the story's just amazing. It's just It's just amazing. And I'll be honest, I'm getting excited about it because I want to play it again. I'm not even going to lie. And even though this game is based on true events, they've added their own flair to make it interesting. And obviously, they're going to do that for the entertainment purposes. And games like this make me personally want to second guess history and what we know about it, because what's written in the books that we get taught, is it actually the full story? And the ending to this game, in my opinion, is really satisfying. And I'm not going to go into detail because obviously, if you're going to play it, you need to experience it yourself. But I'm officially declaring this a must play. And if you don't play it, you're just massively missing out. And the questions I'm going to leave you with are there any historical events that you believe have more to them than what we're actually taught? And if they created one final Uncharted game, what famous or infamous point in history would you want it based upon? I'd personally love to see a game based around the Nazi gold conspiracy, because even though a lot of gold was found, there was some still missing, like the famous Amber Room or the gold train. And it's just completely shrouded in conspiracy because it just went up and missing out of nowhere. But let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new round here, drop us a sub. It's absolutely free. Thank you very much again. And hopefully I'll see ya in the next one.